It's football season, and you can now get almost anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a running back delivered, but you can get baby back ribs delivered. A strong defense? No. A strong deodorant? Yes. A six-pack of abs? Nope. Six-pack of beer? Yes. Get almost anything for game day delivered with Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Alcohol 21 plus and in select cities. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
All you heroes, hawks, crows, rooks, and inquisitors. Welcome to the Dragon Age Lorecast, where we unpack, discuss, and theorize about all the lore behind the Dragon Age series.
We are so excited to bring you this podcast. Every episode will be covering a different topic in the Dragon Age universe, from character deep dives to exalted marches and elven gods. We'll cover it all.
There will be spoilers. And always remember, swooping is bad.
And welcome to the Dragon Age Lorecast. This is Austin, also known as Teacup. I'm going to start this over. Hello and welcome to the Dragon Age Lorecast, where we talk about Dragon Age and its lore. I'm one of your hosts, Austin, also known as Teacup, and that's how the intro is properly done. And I'm here with my other host.
Hey, I'm Shelby or She-Cup, and we are back with another episode. But yeah, that was not the first time we did the intro, so thanks for sticking in there. So, Austin, why don't you tell us where we're going today?
Well, it's a very important episode.
It is.
It is our 200th episode of the Dragon Age Lorecast.
Yes.
We have been doing this for
5 years. 5 years.
This is the 5th year of the podcast.
No, yes.
We started in 2021.
We started in 2021, but we started talking about doing the podcast in 2020, the end of 2020.
I think that's right.
And then we hit send and said, yeah, we're going to do it in like the beginning of 2021. And then we didn't get our stuff together until like August. The summer, August.
Yeah. So this is our 200th episode on year 5 of this podcast. A lot has happened. A lot has changed. And so we're just going to talk about moments. And so I actually, before we start, I know you had your own plan, but I just want to talk about like the history of this podcast. And so like, just in like the things that we have like witnessed and done in this podcast, just showing up like the history of Dragon Age. So we started this show in 2021. Basically I had convinced Shelby to play all the Dragon Age games because she was like, I liked KOTOR and I want to play a different game. I was like, okay, try Dragon Age. And she played Dragon Age Origins and she was like, this map sucks. And she's like, but the game is fun.
What are you talking about?
You hated the mini map and like that not everything had quest markers.
Oh yeah, okay, fair. I stand by it.
Yes. And so it's still one of my frustrations with that game. And so we started this and we were like, oh, and then they announced DA4, which at that time was DA4 as we knew it.
Yeah.
And so we kept playing and I got Shelby some books from Dragon Age for Christmas.
That's really what sold it.
Yeah.
You got me the encyclopedia, and I went really deep into the lore.
Yes. And so we got all of this stuff going in here. And so we started with the announcement of Dragon Age 4. And we're like, oh, we'll be excited for this game or whatnot. And so we did that. We started talking about stuff. We built a bunch of stuff. They started releasing the Missing comics and Teventer Nights and other things like that. I'm just talking about all the Dragon Age content that has come.
Yeah, no, but there was like a long time before we got to the Missing.
Yes, that we were waiting. And then we keep getting more and more breadcrumbs, as we called it. Short stories on Dragon Age Day, the release of Dragon Age Absolution.
Which was great. I still really enjoyed that.
All great things that happen, and then we finally see the release of Dragon Age.
The
Veilguard, which we got as Dragon Age Dreadwolf first. Dad.
Which it should have stayed Dad, but that's whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
And then we got the Veilguard. And that's really how we got in there, and we've done lots of things of covering pretty much every single corner of Thetis. I feel like the things that we really, really haven't dived into are the things we're diving into now, which is like Teventer history and a little more of like the Qunari, but also that's because we don't know anything.
Yeah, well, we're going through all the countries now. We're just still stuck in Teventer because we've been in Teventer for forever.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I mean, we've talked about so much, and like I look back on some of our early episodes, I'm like, oh man, I would structure that so differently now, or oh man, like I would redo that if I could, and like we could redo it, you know, but I also just kind of want to keep it as it is because it's like it's a reminder of like where we started and how far we're at now. And so I just kind of feel like I don't want to redo it. I don't want to change our old intro, even though our new one's so much better, you know? So that's just my philosophy on how I look at it.
No. And you know, like there's a point of like, I don't want them to go over the original Star Wars trilogy and make it look like the sequel trilogy and like design and things like that. Like,
yeah, like part of the like early days of any game, of any video, of any movie, whatever, like, yeah, it's old and it's janky, but it's charming in that kind of oldness and jankiness.
Yes. So that's what you're saying. We will not be doing a Dragon Age Lorecast remastered. No legendary edition of the Dragon Age Lorecast.
And we definitely won't be charging you for it.
Exactly. And so then that's really where we're at, and we're at our 200th episode now, and I think we're just going to be a little nostalgic, we're going to be a little reminiscing, and we're going to go to see what people say are your favorite episodes. We're going to give some thank yous of where we're going to be. I believe there will be a traditional mid-break in this episode and everything like that, but we're just going to talk about some moments in there, and if as you're listening to this you're like, oh, you didn't talk about my favorite moment, like please hop in the Discord or shoot us an email or something and let us know.
Leave it in the comments on Spotify, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah, we'll read them out on the show and we can talk about them too.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we do have some favorite moments from our listeners. So Austin and I are just kind of gonna go back and forth of things people have said. So do you want to start with the first one?
Yeah, sure. So this is from Safi, which if you don't remember came on the Cullen episode, which you'll see now. But Safi says, it's been years ago, but I wanted to say thank you for having me on your Cullen episode. I super appreciate it. So glad you guys are still going strong. And I just wanted to say that the Cullen Rutherford episode is the only episode of the Dragon Age Lorecast that I did the research for.
Yeah, I forgot you did that. We've done so many things differently over the years. It's crazy, especially in regard to character deep dives. Like they started as mini-sodes, like mini episodes, because we were like, oh, well, we won't have as much to talk about on these. And so like we just kind of hit the highlights. We should do Varric again because I don't think we went through everything.
Well, and
for
he
him.
needs to be updated.
Yeah, exactly. He needs updates. So it's just interesting seeing how that changes. But Brindy Rose says, so my funniest moment with listening to the pod was while I was working on cleaning my manager's office in the restaurant where I work. I was listening to one of the episodes on the books, our book club season, and it was either The Calling or The Stolen Throne, where Shelby said something along the lines of Merrick being addicted to elf coochie. And I was laughing so hard that my GM wanted to know why I was dying of laughter. So I played him the part, and he doesn't even know anything about Dragon Age at all, but we were both laughing so hard. I have to go back back and find the specific line, but that memory stands out among the rest. Thank you so much, Brindy Rose. I remember thinking when we recorded that episode, like, should I say this? And then I said, you know what? Screw it. And just full send on let me be the most unhinged I could possibly be in this moment.
Yeah, there are several things that we'll talk about in these memories that come into the point of like that stand out as like unique to our podcast, you know, me hating Anders and Solus, other things like that, but also like Merrick being addicted to Elf Coochie, one we'll talk about later in there. That's one of the memories, and just some other things that I can't think of, but just iconic moments being in there. And I think Merrick being addicted to Elf Coochie is
it's up there. It's really good. Yeah.
So Resonant Moon says, honestly, learning about all the additional media around Dragon Age, especially Vows and Vengeance, and the Halloween switch with Jen and V. If you haven't known, we love having the two girls on the pod and going on their pod and doing all of that stuff. They're good podcast friends of ours and good real life friends too. And we love the episodes with them, and that Halloween switch was a lot of fun.
Yeah, those episodes going on their show truly are some of my faves that we've done. And then Kolkashins said, I listened to you all so much on the podcast that I would occasionally try to join in on the conversation before realizing that y'all aren't actually in the room with me. Also, my favorite episodes are the ones where I've been a guest star. We know.
We know.
We know.
Yes.
We do appreciate all of our guests who have come and joined us on the show to talk about the things that they love. I think Cash Kokoshin specifically has been on to talk about Shale and Win. And he also joined us for our We Love Elves episode for one of the Dragon Age days where we brought in a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, that's true. And if you need someone in the Discord that you're like, hey, I want to nerd out about something, odds are Kolkashins has nerded out about it too.
True. Very true.
Capricorn Tower, Lisa M, and several others in the Discord are pointing out to one of what they say is the most iconic phrase we have ever said, even though we have only ever said it twice on this show.
I think there's been a few more times that
Yes.
I've said it. I didn't fully do the full count.
Yes, but this is in regards to a scene in the Blackwall Romance and Inquisition that Shelby so lovingly named as
Tits in the stable. Tits out in the stable.
Yes, tits
because I was so appalled the first time I ever played the romance. He first of all fucks and chucks you, leaving you in the stable by yourself with your titties out. You wake up the next morning butt ass naked, and he's gone and left a little freaking rocking horse statue on his little carving table down there and a note. It's wild that man would do that to the Inquisitor.
no blanket.
No, I think they do have a blanket around their
No,
waist.
you said there's no blanket. You are fully naked on a bale of hay. Tits out in the stable.
It's
and
wild.
listen. Of the two gaming franchises that we do shows about, if I had a nickel for every time Shelby ranted about the sleeping conditions of a protagonist, I would only have 2 nickels, but it was weird that it happened twice.
No, you'd have way more than 2 nickels. Number one, Desmond deserved to have some freaking pajama pants. The Templars put him to bed in denim. I'm sorry, in denim. And then Blackwall is going to have sex with you and not get you a blanket. Like, I know we're living in the stable here, but we can have some amenities, okay? The window's wide open, doesn't have a curtain, so anybody walking by is just going to see the Inquisitor asleep, naked, no blanket. I'm not over it.
No, the Cassandra romance. Cassandra and Blackwall are the romances that don't take place in the Inquisitor's room.
I don't remember. Why?
I was just curious.
Okay. Well, I think that's enough on that. The next one that I have is getting over 1,000 entries on our community survey. Should we do another one?
I think so. We need some Veilguard data.
We do. We need some Veilguard data. I'm very curious to see. Okay, and then I have a few personal ones that I want to shout out, which you can do after me. But, some of the highs of this show, like early days, we interviewed E.K. Johnston, famed Star Wars author. That was a high. I'm still not over it. Like, we still had our janky microphones when we did that. So craziness. Swapping shows with the two girls was a blast. And then also one of my favorite things that we've ever done was the Labor Day charity show that we did with Robots Radio Network, where we played D&D. That was so much fun, and raised money for a good cause in St. Jude. So,
I think I agree with all of those things as awesome highlight moments. And I just want to add to that list here of any time we guested on either the Mass Effect Lorecast or the Two Girls show has always been really highlights for me. But I have super enjoyed when we delve into the Elven Pantheon. And it honestly both frustrated and made my playthrough more enjoyable of DAV, because I was like, wait, no, go back.
Yeah.
Do this.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the book series. I think those are some of our better seasons. But yeah, the Elven Pantheon one was good. Mainly a little selfishly of I got to flex more of my religious education muscles in
your religious education.
Yours too, but that was my role in that episode, was to bring in the other religions.
Yeah. And you did it well. All right. With that, I think we're ready for the middle of the show. Unless you have any other highlights.
I don't think so. Let's go in.
This Friday,
I love him. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same.
experience the greatest love story of all time.
Why did you leave me?
Why did you betray your own heart?
A film by Emerald Fennell.
Heathcliff.
Kathy,
Margot Robbie, Jacob Elordi.
kiss me and let us both be damned.
Wuthering Heights. Original songs by Charlie XCX. Only in theaters Friday. Experience it in IMAX. Rated R. Under 17. Not admitted without parent.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Walmart Business saves you time, money, and hassle, which means you can focus on what really matters. Like putting the money you save back into what you do, spending more time training your team, filling orders, and finding new clients. Anything and everything, right down to, oh, that's the one, choosing the best hold music. Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
I've got this nefarious plan to go around to each of them and secretly tell them all the nasty things you said. That way they'll mutiny and I shall become the group leader.
You know, we have more comfortable rooms and basically infinite space, so why
does the trained assassin prefer a quiet, unassuming spot with good choke points?
Guess you just answered that question.
Besides, I'm closer to the coffee.
Just wondering if the feathered pauldrons are an essential part of the moody rebel mage persona.
What are you talking about?
I'm working on an epic poem about a hopelessly romantic apostate, waging an epic struggle against forces he can't possibly defeat.
What do you mean, can't possibly defeat?
Well, it's not a good story unless the hero dies.
So, welcome to the middle of the show where we talk about things that don't have to that do with the podcast, but not the lore of Dragon Age, which I feel like is this entire episode.
You just copied my introduction to the mid-break that I do for Assassin's Creed.
I did it first.
You never say it like that, though.
Do you want me to go back and change
No,
it?
I think it's funny.
Are you going to leave this exactly the same? And you're going to leave this conversation in there too? Okay. Anyway, welcome to the middle of the show where we're just going to do some stuff. We're going to thank our patrons. First, thank you to our first patrons, Genesis and Lisa M. And new patrons, Dale G. and Luke C. Welcome to the Patreon. We are so glad that you are here. We don't have any reviews to leave us, but if you want to leave us reviews and comments on Spotify, we will read them out on a future episode of the show. And lastly, come hang out with us on Discord. And it's a great place. It's a great place to share things and nerd out about stuff. Cups Podcasting and More Discord server. Come join us. And that's the middle of the show.
All right, let's get back into it.
This episode is brought to you by Stouffer's. Here comes 3-time juggling champion Natalia Rogers. She's juggling law school, her TA job. Oh, narrowly catches the laundry. What's that fourth ball? Parents unexpectedly showed up at dinner time? Is that too much for Natalia? Not with Stouffer's Chicken Alfredo and its mouth-watering mix of Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan. When you're juggling 4 things at once and the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's.
My people have heard legends of the Grey Warden's strength and skill. Though I suppose not every legend is true.
That's really helpful. What are you, the elven god of sarcasm?
Lies, treachery, and rebellion, depending upon the story. And how could I help? I do not have my ritual dagger. I cannot access my network of mirrors to travel from the lighthouse to anywhere in the world. All I can offer is what I know.
Helpful advice from the elven god of, and I am quoting you here, lies, treachery, and rebellion.
Depending on the story.
You fear barbarians will swoop down upon you.
Yes, swooping is bad.
So yeah, another silly thing that I thought we could talk about is just like silly stuff, bloopers, things that we've remembered us messing up before. Like, I know the dogs barking and the baby crying have interrupted almost every single episode of the show, and I normally cut that out for you all, but truly that ever present on the show. And there's another blooper that I think Austin wants to highlight.
That's a me job.
That is a you job.
Did that make it into the show?
I don't remember. I don't even remember the context of it either. I used to have an episode of bloopers, but I think when I changed computers, I lost it. So
yeah, not really a blooper, but on the Hear Me Out cakes, when I can't remember what I put, but I was the most unhinged on that, and no one, because I took it as let's be as unhinged as I possibly can. And I misunderstood the assignment.
You greatly misunderstood the assignment. Yeah. No, you like ended everyone's life in that episode. But I do also have to say, like, we have had so much silly, fun, stupid, ridiculous, chaotic times on our patron chats. We love all of our patrons so much. And I'm like, you all are so dear to my heart. And also you are the most chaotic people I know, with a couple of exceptions. But generally, like, oh my God.
I think we need to do one thing that is one of the most silliest, just broke everyone in existence before we do the thank yous. And we might have to pause the recording for you to go find this. But I think you need to read the Wesbotron's Inquisitor again.
Okay, so unfortunately and begrudgingly, I have been forced by Austin to read the Wesbotron's James P. Inquisitor again, because this truly broke the patrons. So this is what it says. Gird your loins, everybody. James P. Inquisitor was some schmuck who needed money to stay afloat and took a job as some important lady's bodyguard. Little did he know that something was about to rock his world. He then woke up in chains to one of the most beautiful people he's ever seen, who he soon found out was Cassandra. True. James vowed to help seal the rift because there was nothing else to do at the time, and now he had some new magical power, which felt familiar to him. Together, everyone helped seal the rift temporarily, and we all vow to close it for good. Back at camp, he meets the gang and takes interest in Cullen and Varric. Cullen talks about how he used to be in the Templar Order, and James figures that his Templar experience will help with the demons. Varric intrigues him because his name is familiar, which he then finds out he's some big author or whatever. James starts to put the moves onto Cass, which she brushes off, but he noticed her blush for a brief moment. The crew heads to Orlais to clear the air about the Inquisition, but then gets roasted by some Templar wannabe. After conversing with his newfound best friend in Cullen and Cass, James decides that it's best to try and convince the Templars that we are chill. We spend the next 6 weeks in the hinterlands. During those 6 weeks, my relationship with Cass grew ever so much. She finally notices James, but I discover her secret about a certain dwarf author. James then immediately rushes over to Varric to get some signed books, to which he says he'd do it if we can spare some time to get rid of the red lyrium veins. But of course, James says with enthusiasm. While breaking shards with my 3 new besties, I get to learn that Cullen is scared about his past. I tell him that getting rid of the lyrium should help with this. On these journeys, I ask both Cass and Cullen to train me in the way of a Templar, since their magic would help me understand this power I have, as well as having the benefits to fighting demons. We then travel to confront those lame Templars, as us cool new Templars just want to assimilate them into the Inquisition, but alas, trickery is afoot. We get transported to the Shadow Realm, where I heroically break out of with the help of a skinny hillbilly who appeared out of nowhere. We all defeated the Envy Demon, and with their power, we will help stop the demon onslaught. After finding out Cole was a demon, James killed Cole. Pausing here to note, this is when it devolved for me.
This was the beginning.
The beginning of the end. Continuing. When the party asked why, I explained that regardless of his intentions, he is an evil that just could not be in this world. With the Templars now on the side of the Inquisition, the mages got really mad at us for no good reason and decided to attack us with the help of this dead dragon and his rider Corey something. They trashed my home and I had to drop a mountain on them just to escape. We escaped into the mountains and found our new castle. There I am, crowned as the Kingquisitor. At least that's what I heard. After some more training, I mastered my Templar training and with the help of Varric, successfully wooed Cassandra. Varric introduces us to Hawk, the champion of Kirkwalk. We clasp forearms in a welcoming embrace and lock eyes. There is a long pause as we stare at each other, becoming rather awkward. Hawk asks if we've ever met. I seem familiar, and I respond with, I've never even been to Kirkwall before, so I doubt it. Hawk says he needs help.
That was a lie.
Hawk says he needs help and that he knew Corey, so we should team up, which we do. We travel to Crestwood in search of his warden friend, fighting demons, outlaws, and bears, oh my, and find his pal Stroud. We then travel to the desert where we liberate some camps from rebel scum and complete the required rituals and also claim a fortress in the name of the Inquisition. We then head to the final destination, the fortress. There we kill a bunch more demons, fight our way through to the end. We all get flung into the Fade and fight our way to the end, killing the Nightmare. James opens up a rift, returning to the real world, and being the hero he is, lets the others cross first. But when Hawk passes him, James lets out a magical, powerful attack, knocking him down. Hawk, confused, rolls onto his back to see James crushing a red lyrium crystal that he'd pulled from his pouch, absorbing its powers. Also pausing to note, this is where we veer into some fan fiction. I haven't felt this alive in years, James says as he stalks toward Hawk. A massive battle between James, two-handed warrior / Templar, and Mage Hawk. The battle was bloody, but the Templar's powers were too much for Hawk, leaving him defeated and broken. Hawk then asks in a distraught and harsh tone, why? James picks up Hawk and whispers in his ear, "This is for my mother." Hawk then immediately realizes where he's recognized James from, as his eyes are the same eyes as the Knight Commander Meredith.
This is when Austin lost it.
James then discards Hawk off a cliff and said, "And this is the abyss you'll lie in." James steps out of the Fade and
that's
asked,
clever. I now realize why that's clever, because the quest is called Here Lies the Abyss.
You never realized that?
Well, I wasn't as smart as I was the years ago we read this.
Okay. James steps out of the Fade and is asked what happened. James explains that the Nightmare Demon returned and that both him and Hawk fought and defeated it, but it killed Hawk in the process. We all returned to Haven.
I think he means Skyhold.
Skyhold, where Cullen approaches James in his quarters and confronts him, recognizing the use of red lyrium. James tells Cullen that he's been taking some as they've destroyed the lyrium veins. James convinces Cullen that red lyrium is needed to fight Corypheus and that he would need red lyrium to help fight them too. James then heads to his love, Cassandra. The two are inseparable now, with each other claiming that they would die for the other. James comes clean to her that he's been lying this whole time and that he used to be a Templar, which is why he caught on so quickly but was ashamed of the man he used to be. And this tactic worked on Cassandra, as she fully believed that I have atoned for my past life. I then take to my throne, where I'm informed that a man threw a goat at my walls.
That is not fan fiction.
That is not. I laughed and asked, who let him get so close to my walls? They all point to Timmy. I asked Timmy what he was doing, to which he told me he was sleeping. I asked Timmy to show me where he was sleeping. You sound like a smoker.
I forgot about Timmy.
You sound horrible. Can I continue? We're almost done. Timmy brings James to a spot on the ramparts that was well hidden. James, angry with Timmy, threw him off the ramparts and to his death, claiming that if a simple man with a goat could sneak up on us, then what could stop Corey? James then decides that he's tired of waiting and takes the fight to Corey, charging him head on and single-handedly kills both him and his dragon. After the final battle, the question of who will be the next divine, to which James tells everyone that his love, Cassandra, will be the divine. Cassandra, who is madly in love with him and would do anything for James, accepts. The meeting of what will happen to the Inquisition now that Corey is gone begins. James arrives an hour late and when confronted said, "The Inquisition is the reason you all are here, which is why I shall not disband it. I have the full support of the Empress of Orlais as well as the current divine. The Inquisition shall remain a force in this land and a force to keep the peace among the people to ensure that nothing like this happens ever again. If anyone wishes to challenge these claims, you are welcome to come and say it to me now." The room remains silent as James leaves and returns to his throne back in the mountains. The end.
Timmy broke me. Timmy broke me. That was, I don't know what I remembered. And I remember it being unhinged, but I don't remember that much unhinged.
I don't remember Timmy. I must have blocked it out. So yeah, we've had a lot of silly times on Patreon chat. And if you want to join us, obviously you can. Okay, and so just to close the episode up today, we do want to extend a big thank you to both anybody that's ever supported the show in several different ways. So we want to give a special shout out to everyone that we've ever interviewed, and we want to give a special shout out to anybody who's ever supported the podcast on Patreon. So anybody that we've ever interviewed, thank you so much to all of you who have come on the show. You are Firewriter from the Pixel People podcast, Safi from the Lore Together podcast, Ravada from the Two Girls One Ship podcast, Genesis from the Two Girls One Ship podcast, E.K. Johnston, Star Wars and young adult author, Allison Draste, Cole Kashins, B from the Win and Thetis podcast, Vega from the Win and Thetis podcast, Psych from the MCU Lorecast and the Mass Effect Blue Shift podcast, Cloudy Atlas, Lewis Hackfeth, Nug King, Extraordinaire, Saria Lou, Charles or CW Rogers from the lots of podcasts. Go listen to it, Patreon chat. He'll shout it out there. Kane Riley, Almighty Crit from the Kingdom Hearts, Legends of Zelda, and many more lorecasts. Ben of Temeria from the Holocron Histories and many more podcasts. And Katie from the Gil Dirthlin YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for ever spending time with us on the podcast. And then lastly, but certainly not least, thank you to anybody who's ever supported the podcast via Patreon, including Lisa M., Genesis, Derek B., Fletcher M., Zuba, Ben W., Psych, Chris L., Becky, Archangel, Capricorn Tower, LVCC 13, Xander Guru, Sarah Vale, Stephen L., Cloudy Atlas, Kit, Charlotte B., NB Canary, Brianna E., Tori H., George B., Colin B., Amy M., Quinn C., Ambrosian, Emily E., Kerwin W., Andy G., Alyssa I., Lewis H., again, Nug King Extraordinaire, The Wesbotron, The Mimi Control, Julian C., Christian R., Angel C., Hassel the Hoff, Vervada, That Apple Guy, C.W. Rogers, Cameron D., Dresden C., Dale G., David L., Abel S., Giovanni C., Lisa S., Feather Jar KNS, Tiago P., Shelby, not me, Luke C., Colca Shins, Ben W., Courier Zero, Anna C., Ciara D., Madam Snowflake, Heckaroonies, Mr. Snow, Sabrina L., MB, Amber F., Lesanika, Akalia, Brett C., Space, Ren, Winter H., Laurent I., Starfang, Inkadone, Bailey B., Stephen R., Ashley R., Alistair Q., Francesco O., Raquel L., Dallas H., Taylor, Wynn, Charlotte, Jackson W., Mr. Cloud, Dallas S., Grey Warden Alex, Bernie F., Alyssa S., Christian G., and Stoned Mystios. Thank you.
I'd like to say a special thank you to our admins who help us run the Discord and do that. And that is Ben of Temeria, General Mothman, Genesis, Bane, Call Me Cast, Colca Shins, and Salt King. We greatly appreciate y'all's support and help managing the Discord server, as it would be a lot for the two of us to do by ourselves.
And I think we should give a special shout out to Robots Radio, because the Rocket Club is where we got our start, and he gave us a lot of great advice when we first started getting going. And there were a lot of podcasts that started around the same time as us. The two girls, they just had their 200th episode too, and so we just were a fun little community there in the beginning. So definitely shout out to Tom as well.
Yes, very much. And so the last thank you I want to give to you is thank you all for listening to the Dragon Age Lorecast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Dragon Age Lorecast. If you have any lore questions, topics to cover, or side character suggestions, join the Cups Podcasting and More Discord server. It's the best place on the internet.
You can also support the podcast financially and ensure its continuation by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/DALorecast. If you enjoyed the show or learned something new today, please subscribe, leave us a review, rating, or comment, or join our Patreon.
The Dragon Age Lorecast is part of the Robots Radio Podcasting Network. If you enjoyed our intro or outro music, give a big shout out to Pipeman Studios. Until next time, look to the sky, the dawn will come.
When a wasteland detective and a vault girl cross paths, no criminal is safe.
You're both under arrest.
Don't move a muscle if you know what's good for you.
Based in Bethesda's Fallout series, follow Walter and Bunny as they traverse the Texas Commonwealth and New Vegas, busting big crime rings.
We'll need all we can to expand into Vegas territory.
And surviving anything the wasteland can throw at them.
It's him! It's the Mothman!
Featuring a series of nail-biting narratives and guest stars from across the Fallout community. It's anybody's guess what thrilling case is up next.
War never changes, does it, Bunny?
No, it certainly does not.
True Vault Escapades, a Fallout audio drama. Available anywhere you get podcasts.